What do you think about Fitz saying that AB doesn't understand how good he has it?
Well, I think if there's anybody who deserves the opportunity to say something like that, it's probably Larry Fitzgerald. My biggest concern with Antonio Bryant is, Antonio Brown is his behavior, right? There's no accountability to it. We forget he's talking about things he can't control in Pittsburgh. None of it. Ben, the ownership, all the stuff. We have yet to hear from him on what he did, the things that he needs to take accountability for. And that's not going to change if you go somewhere else.
No, we did hear from him, right?
I know, but we did no accountability part.
Okay.
We heard from it, and nothing we've heard. And the thing about being traded is that you have no opportunity as a free agent to go in, meet with the people who you're going to go to. When you're traded, you just go. And you have to accept what you bought with that trade. And with that being seen, he's got every opportunity with these interviews to stand up and do something differently, and he just hasn't done it.
Antonio, in so many ways, if he handles this differently, I would be, and a lot of people be on his side. Because I don't think Big Ben is a great teammate. I don't think Big Ben's a great leader. And I don't think the Steelers have handled Big Ben the right way. But up to and including this weekend, when Antonio's on the shop with Maverick and LeBron, and Maverick asked him, so what happened there? He's like, man, I wasn't feeling well. I had a bit of an injury. I told Coach Tomlin, and Coach Tomlin told me just go home. I was like, go home? And then they're laughing, and he said, at no point has he come out and said, hey, let me address this. Of course I should have shown up that last week. I screwed that up. My frustrations got the most of me. There are ways that he could, at any given time, try to turn this thing around. He meets with the owner of the team, Art Rooney, seemingly I think the Pittsburgh reporters, you shared a column yesterday by Ron Cook saying this, that the thought process was Art Rooney got to him and said, listen, we're going to trade you, but just chill for a little bit because you're hurting your trade value.
Right.
Instead,
we'll take care of you.
He just keeps going out of his way to weaken the Steelers' negotiating position. And it is very hard for me, maybe this is superficial, but it's very hard for me to take seriously someone that says, I don't want the attention, when you're saying it with a dyed blonde mustache and blue hair. Like, you got to be kidding me. And people can look however they want, but you can't say, I don't want the eyes on me, when every action you make is begging for the eyes to be on.
There's a number of things to react to. Number one, Larry Fitzgerald. I do this on occasion with Larry. I go through his phone. I say, who do you have in your Rolodex in the NFL? And every player that you would want to know is in his phone. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, like this guy is universally loved and in contact with the league. No one in the recent history, especially as a wide receiver, has a better reputation amongst the players and amongst front office people and coaches than Larry Fitzgerald. So you're talking about from a respect factor. Let's go over to the Pittsburgh Steelers side. And this is the part that upsets me more, because you have players in the locker room like Ben. Players who've established themselves, they've been there, the organization loves them, and they have a different set of rules. That's everywhere you go. Art Rooney, you mentioned, he's a great owner. You know who else was a great owner? His dad. You know who else was a great owner before him?
His granddad.
His grandfather. So he shows up to the Steelers practice facility every single day because they're trying to win a championship. So when you have a meeting like this with someone who you should have a great deal of respect for, and he tells you, we're going to take care of it. We are going to trade you. We're going to grant that. You know something? You don't even have to come back to Pittsburgh to meet you. I'm going to fly to South Florida. We'll meet in the airport somewhere that's very convenient for you to get in the car and drive up from South Florida. So not only has he had the most respected player that we've seen this generation, Larry Fitzgerald, say negative things, and now he's disrespecting the ownership of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He don't have no respect for the game. Guy talks about, I got $30 million. You're 30 years old. You think that's enough to get you to the grave? There's all kind of horrible stories of athletes being broke, fool. That ain't no whole bunch of money in the real world. So, I don't need football. But every dime you ever made, what was it off of? I know where you come from. I know your story. So it's amazing to me how much he's changed as a person. And I just can't. Larry Fitzgerald, if he speaks out against me, man, that would cause me pause. And what he's done to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin and the Rooneys, that's the reason why I believe this will not end well for him. That Tennessee Titans with Marcus Mariota throwing to him, okay.
Where do you think, Ryan, sorry.
Go ahead.
Where do you think it went so sideways?
Well, I think any player who makes it to that level, there's a narcissistic personality that takes over, right? I mean, either you develop a personality like Larry Fitzgerald, where you're grateful for every opportunity that's been granted, or you become entitled in a way where you think you deserve more and you become resentful. I mean, you hear other people getting other things and you go, why isn't that happening for me? I contribute more and more. I'm the most successful. Then you also hear Mike Tomlin telling other players he won't be around if he can't contribute anymore. Once he can do whatever the hell he wants, but once he stops contributing, then he's out the door. If that's in the locker room,
bad message.
That's a bad message.
Right. Right. I understand the narcissism. I think we've all seen that in the league. My question is this, y'all, and this is for everybody. I'm going to take it around the table. What's the strategy, right? So he's doing interview after interview. He's getting a very loud narrative out there for whatever you may think of it. That narrative is out there, and he's doubling down on it every single opportunity he gets. What is the potential upside? Because he is weakening the Steelers' negotiating value to trade him and get something for him. What's his end game?
I don't think first you can talk about the end game. You have to realize he was in a bad relationship with Ben Roethlisberger. They didn't like each other. He talked about, I've been here a long time. I've been to Ben's house one time. He's been to my house one time. I don't know his kids. He don't know my kids. To me, that's criminal because that dude got the ball, and he's going to give it to me. That's criminal right there. So what's he trying to accomplish? I told Nick a long time ago, he wants a new contract. He wants some guarantees. He knew he didn't like Ben, but the only way to get those guarantees was to get out of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's getting ready to extend Ben Roethlisberger. So the end game was to get more guarantees out of Pittsburgh, Ryan.
Yeah, the idea that once you have what you have, that you keep working for it is always different from player to player within this league, right? I believe that money, power, and prestige made me successful. I don't know where I learned that from TV or whatnot, but I do think players believe that when they get to that point. And you have to have a better understanding of that this can all go away. And unless you're open-minded, the psyche of an elite athlete is incredibly fragile. For somebody who's so powerful and does such great things on the football field, it's a fragile psyche that we see break all the time.
And I think his psyche was broken when Ben told one of the family secrets. Hey, this dude broke off his route. This dude ran the wrong route.
And he brought that up in the interview with LeBron and Maverick, where he says, man, he threw the ball to the damn D-line, and what do you want me to do? You could tell he's still holding on to it. But to answer your question, his initial goal was get out of Pittsburgh and get somewhere where, as C mentioned, they're going to give me more guaranteed money. He even tweeted, if you got guaranteed money, call me. But everything he has done, everything he's done since then has worked against his purposes. And that's why it's illogical to you. Because you're saying, okay, if you want to end up here, why do you keep driving this direction? And it's because he has not had a strategy, he has not had a plan, and whatever elements of a strategy or plan he has had have been wrong. In that same interview with LeBron and Maverick, Anthony Davis is there. Anthony Davis has a strategy and a plan, and he handled himself in that interview one way. He's handled himself publicly one way. Even if you disagree with what he's done, he at least has a cogent idea of how to get it accomplished. AB's just firing everywhere, and it's not. And he's talking to anyone that'll listen, and he's not giving you a consistent message.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.